From JBS Studios in Greater New York, this is the JBS News Update with Teisha Bader.
I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Thursday, July the 9th, 2020. We open with Jewish response to a disturbing anti-Semitic social media post this week from a player in the NFL. Philadelphia Eagles wide receiver Deshaun Jackson shared a post on Instagram expressing his admiration for known anti-Semite Louis Farrakhan, and also featured a quote falsely attributed to Hitler, which speaks of white Jews wanting to blackmail America. Following outcry from Jewish groups, the posts were removed and Jackson said he was sorry. The Anti-Defamation League, the American Jewish Committee, the Jewish Federation of Greater Philadelphia, the Jewish Federation of Southern New Jersey, the Philadelphia Holocaust Remembrance Foundation, and the Pennsylvania Jewish Coalition issued a joint statement writing, although Mr. Jackson later posted that he has no hate in his heart, his amplification of hate-filled messages sent a very different message. They thanked the Eagles organization for condemning the posts by Jackson and urging him to apologize, adding, "We appreciate Mr. Jackson's apology and his removal of the offensive posts. And we hope that he will take this opportunity to work with the Jewish community and become educated about how dangerous and pernicious anti-Semitism and all forms of hate are." The organization Zionists wrote of Jackson's posts as Jews and allies who stand unequivocally in support of Black lives and work every day to combat systemic racism and white supremacy in America. We cannot overstate our horror. It is profoundly disturbing, they wrote, that someone with such a large platform could approvingly share a quote they believe to have come from Adolf Hitler, who will forever be known as one of history's most evil mass murderers and who aimed to cleanse the world of Black people as well as LGBTQ people, gypsies, and others after he exterminated the Jews. Jackson later issued a second apology, writing, "My intention was to uplift, unite, and encourage our culture with positivity and light. Unfortunately, that did not happen. I unintentionally hurt the Jewish community in the process, and for that I am sorry. Now more than ever," he wrote, "we must work together to end discrimination of all types and against all people and communities," promising to work with local and national organizations to educate himself. In response, the ADL of Philadelphia called Jackson's statement a critical step in committing to the work of fighting anti-Semitism and all forms of hatred. Today, the Conference of Presidents of major American Jewish organizations called for zero tolerance in the face of increased anti-Semitism. Arthur Stark, William Daroff, and Malcolm Hoenlein pointed to those seeking to co-opt the national reckoning with racial inequity by taking advantage of the increased media spotlight on social justice. They seek to spread their bigoted messages of hatred toward the Jewish people, adding that recent vitriol from high-profile personalities, some spreading the racist bigotry of Louis Farrakhan, is abhorrent and unacceptable. Those who have influence, they said, should not be trafficking in or tolerating the promotion of Jew hatred, but rather should be vociferously condemning it. Well, several current and former NFL players are speaking out as well. Former linebacker and current Fox Sports analyst Emmanuel Acho tweeted his remarks where he said, "Ignorance is not an excuse."
I don't think Deshaun Jackson meant to offend anybody. I don't think Deshaun Jackson was knowledgeable about exactly what he was doing, but the problem is he still did it, and that is unacceptable.
But he also condemned so-called cancel culture because he said it does not allow for education and growth. Julian Edelman, who recently discovered his father was Jewish, posted a video on Instagram with his thoughts and an invitation to Jackson.
It's really hard to see the challenges a community can face when you're not part of it. So what we need to do is We need to listen. We need to learn. We need to act. We need to have those uncomfortable conversations if we're going to have real change. So to that end, Deshaun, let's do a deal. How about we go to D.C. and I take you to the Holocaust Museum, and then you take me to the Museum of African American History and Culture. Afterwards, we grab some burgers and we have those uncomfortable conversations. This world needs a little more love, compassion, and empathy.
Looking at some other news, we reported to you yesterday about a 30-minute COVID-19 test from an Israeli company that is waiting for FDA approval. Well, now an Israeli startup wants an even faster test, aiming for 10 seconds. Centec Medical, who is working with Mayer Medical Center in Kfar Saba, began testing this week to identify the genetic fingerprint of the coronavirus and then see if it can be found by a sort of breathalyzer test, the kind used to determine if someone has been drinking while driving. Centec's Dr. Rom Eliaz told Channel 13 News it's a breath test that's really going to change the world of diagnostics in general and the world of COVID-19 in particular. Taking a look now at our programming for tonight on JBS for Thursday, July the 9th at 7 o'clock, it's Talmud study. At 8, Professor Mordechai Kedar looks at the rise of Islamic terror. At 9, Mark Golub sits down with Rabbi David Eliezri, the National Chabad Liaison to Jewish Federations of North America, who shares his perspective on Chabad philosophy regarding non-Orthodox Jews. At 10:30, Rabbi Lord Jonathan Sachs explains how the Jewish people are the people of the book. And coming up next, an In the News with Mark Golub and Shachar Azani on the Senate amendment to restrict military funding if Israel extends sovereignty in parts of the West Bank. And that's the JBS News update for Thursday, July the 9th, 2020. I'm Teisha Bader. Stay healthy, stay well.